Hello everyone, my name is Onur and I'm a cybersecurity semester 4 student at the Fonds Hogescholen. In this video I'll be covering my progress with law, responsible disclosure and ethics as one of my learning goals. So what I wanted to do as first thing was go over the law. The Dutch law has a different couple of articles for relating to cybersecurity. One of them is about data breaches, one of them is about the protection of person identifiable data. The GDPR, of course. We have a variation of the GDPR. It's called AVG. It's a bit different, but it's pretty much it comes down to the same thing. So what I wanted to scope on was the Wet Computercriminaliteit. What this pretty much is in Dutch it's called computervredebreuk, and what this translates to is computer peace breaching. And it's a very vague article, but I thought I should go over it nonetheless. It's Article 138 AB in the Criminal Code of the Netherlands. And what this article says is that if you penetrate security, or if you perform a technical incision, if you, by the help of false signatures or a false key, or by assuming a false identity, you breach the peace of a computer network. And doing this can get you up to 2 years in jail or a fine of the 4th category, which is a pretty high amount. I think it's like 15,000 or something like this. So if you, during the supposed hack, do things like saving data or giving someone else the data that you stole, you can actually get up of jail up to 4 years. And if we go into the nitty-gritty and if we review as a technician what these methods actually mean, I had to do a bit of research about this, and I found this website that gave a few examples of what these things could mean. Right, penetrating security. So this could mean that you're crashing a login script, causing everyone that wants access to get access without having to log in. That would be a breach of security. By performing a technical incision, that's an example as well. And they give an example, like let's say that the front door of your office has a digital lock and you need some kind of digital key and open to lock the door. If you make this digital lock short circuit so that the door opens, you would be performing a technical incision. False signals or a false key. So let's say one of your co-workers is logging into his account at your workplace and you're looking at his keyboard while he's logging in. That makes you able to guess their password. And this would be a false signal or a false key. Another example they give is if you IP spoof, so that if you change your IP so that it would seem that you are an actual different computer than your computer actually is. This would be a false key, I assume. Assuming of a false identity. So if you give your computer the same name as the name of your print server, so you would get access to a folder with print jobs in them. Or if you call the help desk and you say that it's your first day as a sysadmin and you're asking what the password is, which is also known as social engineering, phishing, or whatever. This would fall under the assuming of a false identity. And what this means is if you do any of these things and you get sued in the court of law, and they can show that that you did these things, you may get a jail punishment of up to 2 years or a fine of up to the 4th category. So what this means is, as a pen tester, the law would be a very dangerous thing for us to deal with, The thing I dislike is that the law doesn't really define what these technical things actually do mean. Like, we have to make assumptions of what these things mean, but I kind of understand why they do that, because I assume that every court looks at this article when it is occurring, depending on the context. So they would be a bit more flexible when dealing out punishments. That's what I'm assuming anyway. But as a pen tester, this is very vague and unclear, and that makes my job very difficult. So the way that the Dutch government could deal with this is, what my suggestion is, having a -3 of IT. A lot of IT projects in the government, they all fail. Some of them they do succeed as well, but I still don't understand why we don't have a -3 of IT, so we could take a lead of this without just having to wait until this proves to be a problem. So let's say that as a pen tester, you're working at the company and you have to perform these methods in order to test or pen test your customer. Well, obviously the law doesn't really permit you to do these things, and that's why pen testers, most of the time, they use a responsible disclosure with their customer before they actually perform the pen test. Not doing so would make you a black hat hacker, and it'd be ethically wrong, in my opinion. So in this responsible disclosure, you pretty much discuss with your client what is and what isn't allowed. You'd have to be very clear on the communication of this. Everyone has to sign this document so that there is no risk to the pen tester of being put in jail or having to pay an enormous fine. The ethics of this is, let's say that you do have a responsible disclosure with your customer and you both agreed on the terms of your pen test. Ethically, you'd be called a white hat hacker. But depending on the way that you have to, or the way that you're performing the pen test, you may be performing a different type of pen test than the hat you're actually wearing. But ethically speaking, you should always make an NDA with your customer before performing a pen test, because not doing so could get you into a lot of trouble, not only with the law but with the customer as well. Let's say that you're working at a financial institution. You want all of your employees to sign an NDA, because there's no way that you want them to discuss the financial details of your customers with other people outside of work just casually. It's the same for pen testers. There's no way that you want a pen tester that's testing one of your customers just blurting out in public what type of security vulnerabilities you have found on their systems. That's also very important for the responsible disclosure, to keep the information that is discovered during this pen test contained and summarized. Well, that was me for my discussion about law, ethics, and responsible disclosure. Until next time.